I'm Richard Pyatt. Welcome back to Creating Dementia Solutions. It's a Miles for Memories program. Miles for Memories concerned with helping folks, providing resources for those folks living with dementia and the folks who care for them in Calhoun County. Milesformemories.org is the website. Have a look. And also, if you're on Facebook, look for Miles for Memories there. Push that follow button, like, whichever it is, and you'll get alerted when these new episodes come available. We're an audio podcast. We're also on YouTube on the Miles for Memories page. Have a look. We've been chatting with some of our real dedicated volunteers at Miles for Memories about what motivates them, the personal stories of dementia. Christy Lasinski's back with us, Marketing Director at Lakeview Assisted Living. Hi, Christy.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for coming back.
Yeah, of course.
So when we say the personal stories of dementia, we're really getting after whatever it is that motivates you to be part of Miles for Memories. And we find that very often that's as a result of some personal experience that you've had that connected you, that sent you on the path to connect with Miles for Memories. What was it for you?
Really, in all honesty, I've had family members that suffered from dementia or Alzheimer's. I was young enough at the time that I really didn't connect with it in the sense that, I didn't know what was really going on. I didn't realize how individualized that this disease can be, and I didn't realize at the time how much it can change somebody. But as I got into working with seniors, I worked in skilled nursing for several years before I had this role, and it really kind of, once you keep continuously working with these families, and it's a lot of questions, it's a lot of feeling very lost, it's a lot of feeling very isolated in what they're dealing with, which couldn't be further from the case, but it's so hard watching people go through this journey, and I think it just kind of stems from, if I can do anything to help, I want to do that. So that's really where it came from. And then when I started in this role and had the opportunity to meet Sherry and see what Miles for Memories is doing, it's really wonderful, the organization, and it was the first that I had come into contact with. Because the Alzheimer's Association, wonderful group, but they're looking for a cure, and that shouldn't stop by all means.
Right.
But Miles for Memories was the first organization that I came in contact with who were looking for solutions for people going through it now. How do they help the caregivers? How do they help the people who are experiencing dementia now? And that was unique. So,
and as a skilled nursing practitioner, I suppose is the word, you repeatedly became acquainted with what people were facing, feeling, all of that.
Yeah.
So that's a resource. You brought a point of view to Miles for Memories.
Well, I hope that I hope so. I hope
Pretty sure you did, yeah. Talk about that a little bit. You saw it again and again. Maybe it was a situation where someone happened to be in the ER or something, or maybe they were in the hospital for something else, and you saw some kind of a situation unfolding that had to do with memory loss.
Yeah, we get it a lot. Any individual in my role is going to see it again and again and again with people just calling in, asking for information because they've reached a point where they really don't know what else to do. You kind of hit a wall, people start making phone calls, and inevitably, I get reached out to for one reason or another. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a clinician. I didn't spend 10 years in school. But just by osmosis of being faced with these conversations to have with people almost on a daily basis, which is so sad, really. I mean, it's just, there are a lot of people, and I've had conversations with people who have gone into the ER repeatedly with mom or something, and even the physicians in the ER, it's just constant education in this field to try to help people understand what resources are available. How can you actually help somebody or give them a next step other than just signing a discharge and sending them home and back to the same situation they were in with no well, what could we do to avoid this next time type of a thing. So it's those conversations you just keep having repeatedly, and it's important to be empathetic. But people want to know what to do. And just being able to say, hey, I have an organization that you really need to get connected with, or there are support groups, there's activities and things that you can do with your loved one at home, or take them with you. And it doesn't all have to be about panic and what am I going to do? I have today, tonight handled. What am I going to do tomorrow? Type of thing.
Yeah. So, was there ever an occasion where you met someone in a situation like this, but they were frozen in terms of action, even when the resources were made clear?
Yes. I mean, there are something else that I encounter a lot in my role, and I'm sure any marketing director or admissions director could say the same, is that denial is widespread.
It's not just the river.
It's really, really hard when you're talking with somebody about their loved one, and they know them better than I ever would. But they also so badly, it's like, well, what can I do to fix it? Because what we want to do as human beings, it's just it's the way we're wired. We want to fix it.
Yes.
But we can't.
Yeah.
So what do we do now? And what we hear all the time is just like, well, I'm just doing some research. I'm mom's not ready for assisted living. Okay, well, tell me about your mom. Well, she has advanced dementia, and she's had it for 10 years, and she started to wander outside. I'm like, whoa, wait. Like, well, at that point, being in my role, just with the capabilities that we have at our building, is we're not allowed to commute. I mean, you're not ready for assisted living, but you're already beyond what we can do for her, in our setting.
Wow.
So then it's more often than not a shock to the system when I say, like, I really want you to explore, I think you should be touring some memory care options. Because in the effort of hoping you don't have to keep making changes and creating upheaval in the routine, which is important, then, it just stinks.
So let's talk about where folks generally are when you meet them at Lakeview. The advanced description you just provided suggests that, as you put it, it's beyond your capability. So what is the capability? Where do you meet people generally?
We have to be able to keep people safe, but we're not a locked community, like I mentioned. So if somebody is exit seeking, wandering, that wouldn't be appropriate for our setting. Depending on where they are cognitively, they may or may not benefit from even our life enrichment program and the activities, because a true memory care building has specialized programming. They have staff that are trained specifically to respond to people with dementia and Alzheimer's, and that's all part of what you pay for, so to speak, in that setting. It's usually they're smaller buildings than what we are, and so
if there's a spouse who isn't, if they're the main caregiver, let's say, but they're not living with dementia other than that of their spouse.
Sure.
Do they come too, or do they?
Sometimes they do. If we have the capability, and somebody is appropriate to be in our setting, even with a dementia diagnosis, then sometimes the spouse does come too.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say more often than not they do. There's only been a couple situations I've had in 8 years where a spouse stayed home, and the resident became a resident. But I have seen, even spoken with people where they both moved into memory care.
Oh boy.
Just because, you spend 70 years with somebody, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
It really is for better or for worse. So.
Right. So this might be the point in the conversation where I ask you about caregiving.
Yeah, sure.
But it's clear you've been doing that all along.
Yes.
But you talked about relatives and things of that nature. There was probably a caregiving component there, even as a young person, and maybe you didn't even know.
for sure. And I mean, now that I am old enough and in contact with it enough to see the advantages, and to see people light up when kids are around, right? Or when there's that intergenerational component to a conversation or an interaction, it's really, really special. So I hope that I mean, just by existing, maybe. When I was younger, that's why I can see now why my mom brought us along. I mean, it's not like there was anything for us to do, but you're making that person light up and be happy. And I know for a fact, they probably at the time, they thought I was my mom at that age.
Oh, interesting.
During the visit.
Yeah.
But when you're being able to accept that you can live in somebody else's reality just to make them happy and to not cause any stress or something to them can be really freeing too. I mean, it's nice if you're thinking of it in the purest form of you're doing something kind for somebody else.
Boy, let that sink in for a second, and the meaning of that. It might take us as caregivers a little bit of time to have that realization, but that is what you're doing.
Well, people's first, I think families struggle with that a lot, is they correct, right? Oh, no, Mom, that's not who that is. But you can't do that.
Yeah.
You really just have to be present in whatever reality or whatever it is that they're doing. Mm-hmm. So
that can be difficult for us, can it?
Really, really hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So, when you meet someone who's now saying there might be an exit-seeking person in their life, and it's beyond your capability, now you're caregiving again in giving them other resources, right?
Yeah. So I never want to get off the phone with somebody or walk away from a conversation having at least not given them a phone number to call somewhere else, or more than one phone number, or I just don't want to leave people hanging. I've been doing this long enough and am blessed enough to be connected with other organizations and people in the community that we can help each other help people.
Yeah. All right. And you probably welcome calls and visits from people who are trying to gain information about assisted living.
All day long.
Yeah.
All day long. Just, I don't care if it's an immediate need or way, way down the road. It's so much nicer to have those conversations with people when they're not in crisis mode.
Yeah. When when a decision has to be made quickly, that puts more pressure on.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Christy. Well, we appreciate this insight into your personal experiences and the caregiving side and all of that. And certainly if you have questions about assisted living, Christy Lisinski at Lakeview Assisted Living can help. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
So this is what we're talking about when we say the personal stories of dementia. If you've been following along with us, we certainly have heard some of those that have turned into careers for folks, some unexpectedly so, as a result of those personal stories. Others of them have been very personal, folks who've talked about the caregiving of their loved ones after a dementia diagnosis. We'll continue with these episodes, and we hope you'll find them all, whether it's YouTube or on the podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Miles for Memories, so that you're alerted when these come available. I'm Richard Pyatt. Take care.